Hello everybody, it's Pastor Pipe Smoker. I'm getting ready to smoke this new Baraccini pipe with some Sutliff Vanilla Cobbler in this new Baraccini lighter. Currently sitting outside on a very gorgeous day here in New York. Supporting my Buffalo Bills. Just beat the Rams. This tobacco. Wow. The tin note is incredible. The room note's a little harder to grasp because I'm outside and the wind's kind of blowing to my left. You're right. Maybe it's blowing to your left too. Wonderful. Wonderful smoke. I'm going to tamp this down just a little bit. Just a little. Needs just a little more packing. That's perfect. That is a butane soft flame. I have a cool translator that's coming as well. You can tell it's dusk out. Hold tight, I'll be right back. I'm going to turn this backlight off. Yeah, that room note's good. I just got a big puff of it. This might be a little too wet. Being the aromatic, I didn't dry it out. I know, I'm horrible. Not a true professional, but I'll tell you why in a minute. I didn't dry out the tobacco. Didn't really have time today. I spent the entire day watching my son. It's going to be a little dark, but oh well. My son is 17 months old. He's the love of my life. So's my wife. Wasn't my son. See, I'm kind of older. I never had kids, and I always thought having kids was stupid. Don't ask me. I was dumb. I was young and dumb. I'm gonna move this in a little bit. So when it came to having children, I wasn't exactly. I'm gonna move this way a little. Excited about having kids. What ended up happening was I just felt like, maybe it was time and whatever. So my wife and myself decided to try to have children, and then found out very quickly that we couldn't have kids. So we did what every couple does. Went down the doctor line, seeing what was wrong, and we just had started down that path when we got this message that said there was a 17-year-old girl and her boyfriend who needed to have somebody adopt their baby. They didn't want to have it aborted. They didn't want to go through the foster care system. They wanted to do a private adoption. So my wife and myself talked about it. It said, I really feel this could be a cool thing. And so from the first day that my son was born, the day he was born, we were there. The hospital put us in a room, and we waited for him to be born. My wife was in the delivery room with the mother. The mother and my wife had gotten pretty close. I was in the room waiting, anxiously waiting. Let me just say that, anxiously waiting for my son to be born. And the nurse came to me, I'll never forget this, and said, "Would you like to see your son? Your son?" And I said, "I would love to see my son." I went into the room, not the delivery room, they brought him into the other room where the babies are, where the incubator, the heat things are, where they weigh them and everything. He was crying. He had lungs on him. He still has lungs, but he had lungs. Grabbed his little hand and he immediately just gripped my finger. He had crazy grip for newborn. I said, "You're gonna be something else." He had long fingers, looked like piano fingers. And I just touched his cheek and he stopped crying. And as long as I held his hand and touched his cheek, he never cried. They were poking, prodding him, he never cried. Fell asleep. So we had to stay in the hospital 3 days while they got the paperwork all finalized and the judge to sign off and parents' rights to sign off. And 17 months later, that was the best decision. His boy, his name is Jonathan. He is a beautiful 17-month-old. I think my wife's home. I see him in the background over here. Tell me, come on, say goodbye, good night to my son in a minute. They're across the street at a birthday party. This is a delightful pipe. It's probably about 68 degrees out right now here in New York. For those who have adopted, you know that feeling. This kid, the parents really had no means to take care of him. I know they shouldn't have, they shouldn't have made it if they couldn't have. But because of that, I now have this beautiful boy. And he is funny. He's a holy terror. He's a little wild at heart boy, brave, kind, shares his toys. We do daycare here, some daycare, childcare. He helps Mama take care of the other babies. He is the heart of my heart. And I love my boy. And if anybody ever hurt my boy, they'd get hurt. We bonded instantly, and he loves his mama and he loves his dada. He loves his shishi, which is a sissy. He loves his grandpa, his papa. He's saying words like, well, he can't really say balloon, but he says baboon. Like a baboon, I want a baboon. Kids, man, I don't know where my head was at when I said I didn't like kids, but kids are a joy. And having Jonathan has been the greatest journey I've ever been on. I've been on a lot of great journeys. Traveled the world doing music production, all kinds of stuff. It pales in comparison to being a dada and being a father. I never knew what I was missing in life. He was literally the thing that was that last hole in my heart that I couldn't understand. Why I could never, I always felt satisfied with the things of God. I've always been a pastor. But things of earth, I've always felt like something was missing, and now I feel fulfilled 100%. And it's just because we're supposed to, according to the Bible, populate the earth and have dominion, is what the Bible says. And I don't want to get preachy. I just want to talk about my son, who is the joy of my life. And this kid will keep you busy. He is a ham bone, and he is a toddler, all a toddler, and he likes to climb on stuff. He likes to do a lot of crazy things. But at the end of the day, he likes to cuddle on my lap. We watch toddler lullabies, and then his mama takes him in, lays him down for the night. But man, when that morning light comes up, that kid, he's jumping on my head, he's jumping on Mama's head, he's bouncing up and down. He has a lot of energy, and I love every minute of his life. And this has been the greatest journey. If you have children, you know what I'm talking about. If you have adopted children, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're thinking about having kids or adoption, it doesn't have to be a horror story. A lot of people told us it's going to cost 60 grand and all this. It only cost us $2,500 for the lawyer. That was it. That was filing and everything, all the filing fees, lawyer fees, everything was $2,500. If you can do private adoption, if you go through an agency or whatever else, then it gets really expensive. Private adoptions are rare. They're very rare, and it's hard to find. But this one just kind of fell into our lap. And then about 3 weeks ago, we had the chance to adopt another one that wasn't born, another child. Don't know whether it was a male or female, but we got our hands full right now with what we're doing with childcare and Jonathan and our 20-year-old, what we call our daughter. She's part of our family as well that we brought into our house. And Anyway, all that to say, man, my life is full now. It's full. I have a great ministry. I have a great career. I have a great recording studio, and now I have great children. And no regrets in life. And I think that's what we all should be striving for at the end, is having no regrets. I know this is supposed to be a pipe smoking thing. I told you I was going to talk about my son. I get carried away. But I love my son. I know this video is extremely dark, but at any rate, we just felt we did part of what we were supposed to do, and being good people on this planet. And you know, people have asked us, are you going to tell your son that he was adopted? We are. His grandmother actually attends our church. The uncle attends our church. He has play dates with his cousin all the time. His cousin's a little baby that was born maybe 6 months after him. But it's been a good journey. And yeah, we will tell him. We'll break it to him the right way, and I think when he understands, we'll break it to him. I don't want him to get too old. I know that causes a lot of issues with anger and things. We just want him to know that that we love him, that we have always loved him, that he's always been our son, and that his parents did the greatest sacrifice they could ever do, and the greatest gift of love, which was being able to take a couple who couldn't have a child and put him up for adoption, and now we were able to experience what it's like raising a family. It's a beautiful story, man. And adoption doesn't have to be a horror story. It can be the best story, especially for kids that need a good home. So if you haven't adopted, or thinking about it, or in the process, it's worth it. Kids deserve a childhood. Kids deserve a good home. And no, I'm not going to be one of those dads that get participation trophies. I'm not hard on him, but I want him to grow up. To know that anything worth doing takes work. It's not easy. So, I'm Pastor Pipe Smoker. I approve of this video. I approve of this pipe. I approve of this tobacco. Sutliff Vanilla Custard. Fantastic. Please rest. Take care of yourself. Your family needs you. That right there is the daughter that I was talking about. That is Nugget. She's pretty cool. So